Hello and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And welcome back to our Trends and Fads unit, where this month we are enjoying a tasty look at a delicious summer treat. That's right, ice cream!
And not just ice cream, but some of its yummy other versions like sorbet and gelato.
Right. How could I forget? The dialogue that we began reading yesterday will continue in today's lesson. And yes, Rainbow is absolutely right. The two friends who were talking about some tasty ways to cool down during the summer not only mentioned ice cream, right, but also sorbet and gelato.
Ooh.
Now, if I remember correctly, Ben, the male character in the dialogue, he said that he wasn't a fan of ice cream because he is lactose intolerant. Wasn't that right?
Oh yeah, that's right. He can't eat any food made from milk, so ice cream can give his stomach some problems. But he mentioned a good option for people like him, or anyone really, who doesn't want to eat ice cream. Sorbet. It's sweet, cold, and delicious, just like ice cream. But since it's only made from juice, it's not going to bother his stomach.
Perfect. And earlier in the article, Jerry, the female character, had not only talked about ice cream, but also gelato, which is quite similar to ice cream, but does have some interesting differences. So we'll be learning more about all of that in today's conversation, I believe.
Yes, we definitely will. But before we do that, let's go ahead to learn about all of today's new vocabulary for our unit, Cool and Refreshing Frozen Desserts. 第二天，男女主角 Ben and Jerry 在讨论意式冰淇淋和美式冰淇淋的差别。大家知道我更喜欢 gelato 意式冰淇淋。我们现在来看几个单字。第一个 former 前者的是个形容词。I met my former boss yesterday. I met my former boss yesterday. 昨天我遇到了我的前老板。第二个单词 cream 鲜奶油是个名词。Latte with no cream, please. Latte with no cream, please. 老板，我要拿铁不加奶油。第三个单词 college 大学是个名词。It's expensive to go to college in America. It's expensive to go to college in America. 在美国读大学不便宜。最后一个单词 childhood 童年是个名词。My childhood was wonderful. I traveled a lot. My childhood was wonderful. I traveled a lot. 我的童年非常美好，我常常旅行。好了，我们现在看完单字例句，一起来看课文吧。
Ben and Jerry get into the differences between ice cream and gelato. Which do you like better, ice cream or gelato?
I like the former better.
Is that because it has more cream than the latter?
That's part of the reason. Another part is that it has a light and fluffy texture.
Explanation 1.
Okay, so the Trends and Fads article this month is titled Cool and Refreshing Frozen Desserts. And part 2 that we will be reading today is still the conversation that we began yesterday between the two characters named Ben and Jerry. Yeah, no, not the Ben and Jerry from the world-famous American ice cream company, Ben and Jerry's. This Ben and Jerry are just two hot friends looking for a snack on a summer day. Oh, and in our dialogue, Jerry is a woman.
Right. So yesterday, Ben was just telling Jerry all about sorbet and how it's different from ice cream. So remember, we learned that the main difference is that sorbet is made from juice. So there's no milk and no cream in it.
So that was one difference they discussed yesterday. And we see at the top of today's article, they kind of continue with that idea. It says, Ben and Jerry get into the differences between ice cream and gelato.
Oh, that's a bit harder, right?
Yeah, this should be interesting. Ice cream and gelato, as you say, are more similar than each other, and definitely more similar than ice cream and sorbet, which are quite different. But exactly how Are ice cream and gelato different? I gotta say, I'm not really sure.
I don't know either.
We'll learn all about it after Daphne tells us all of the important facts about our first grammar point of the day, which we actually saw in that setup sentence at the top of the dialogue.
大家好，我是 Daphne。今天的第一则文法是 Somebody gets into something， 意思是某人谈论某事。Get 是不及物动词，意思是开始，三态是 get、got、gotten。Into 是介系词，意思是深入。Get into something 字面意思是开始深入某事，引申指谈论某事。我们来看个例句 ：Sally got into the topic of her dream job. Sally 谈论她的梦想工作。
Okay, so Ben begins today's part of their conversation by asking Jerry this question. He wants to know, which do you like better, ice cream or gelato? Huh, that's actually a really good question. I'd have to think about that.
Gelato.
Okay, I don't know. Before we get to Jerry's answer, we need to pause again for our second grammar point. So let's do that while I consider.
第二则文法是 which A or B， 意思是哪一个 A 还是 B。which 是疑问代名词，意思是哪一个，用于有选项的时候，后方的句子倒装，先说助动词，再说主词，最后用 A or B A 或 B 让对方选择。我们来看个例句 Which do you like, beef or pork？ 你喜欢哪一个，牛肉还是猪肉？
So Ben just asked Jerry which tasty frozen treat she likes more, ice cream or gelato?
So, as we keep reading, we can see that Jerry tells him, I like the former better. So that's the one before. So that would be ice cream. Since Ben asked if she liked ice cream or gelato in that order, and Jerry said former, so that tells us that she likes ice cream more because it was the first one in the sentence. So in a sentence, when we say former, that refers to the one that comes first.
Right. And Ben then follows that with another question. He asks, is that because it has more cream than the latter? All right, and so here Ben said the latter, which is always the second one in a choice of two. Ice cream or gelato? Ice cream is the former, gelato the latter. So he was basically asking her if she likes ice cream more than gelato because ice cream has more cream than gelato. Is that why?
And as we come up to the break, Jerry explains a little bit about why she prefers ice cream. She says, that's part of the reason. Okay, so it's partly because ice cream has more cream than gelato, but we know that's not the only reason. So she adds another part is that it has a light and fluffy texture. 在这边加一个补充单字 light and fluffy， 松松软软的，可以来形容润湿完的头发或是棉花糖的感觉。Hey, good point. Ice cream is lighter and fluffier. 好，我们再加一个补充单字 texture， 质地，不管是食物或是衣服 texture is very important. Right, so gelato is a lot thicker than ice cream, but both are very delicious.
Oh yeah, you are 100% right about that. And we'll find out a bit more about why ice cream is so much lighter and fluffier than gelato after we come back from this quick break. So we'll see you soon. That must be from the air bubbles inside the ice cream.
Wait, how do you know that?
I took an ice cream making course at college for fun.
That's cool. Oh, and another thing, ice cream reminds me of my childhood and the good times I had.
Explanation 2.
So Jerry was just saying that she prefers ice cream over gelato for two reasons, right? One, ice cream has more cream than gelato.
Right.
It just feels richer in your mouth.
Yeah.
And a big part of that, of course, is because of all the cream in it.
And Jerry also told Ben that ice cream is lighter and fluffier than gelato, and she also likes that about it.
So, as we get back to reading the dialogue, Ben seems to have an idea of why that might be.
Oh.
Why ice cream is so light and fluffy compared to gelato.
Right.
Interesting. He says that must be from the air bubbles inside the ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard that was the reason why.
Huh, me neither. No idea. And it seems that Jerry also didn't know that because she seemed quite surprised to hear Ben explain this. She kind of stops their conversation for a second and says to Ben, "Wait, how do you know that?" I mean, obviously it's not the sort of thing that normal ice cream fans would know even about this kind of very specific information. So how did Ben become such an ice cream expert? Did he make ice cream for people?
Not exactly, but it seems that Ben is an educated ice cream expert. He tells her, "I took an ice cream making course at college for fun." What? I've never heard of this. His university had classes about making ice cream. Hey, Ben, where did you go to school?
Yeah, and why didn't I go to that school for college?
Me too. That's a good question.
Oh, such a lucky guy. 刚刚我们提到 Ben 因为在大学的时候有上过一堂制作美式冰淇淋的课程，所以他知道冰淇淋里面吃起来松松软软的是因为有气泡。在这边补充一个单字，气泡是 air bubble. So after she hears this, Jerry says, "That's cool. Yeah, it sure is." And Jerry finishes telling Ben about why she likes ice cream by adding one more bit of information. Oh, she says, and another thing, ice cream reminds me of my childhood and the good times I had. Oh, me too. That's a really good point, right? Eating ice cream does make you feel like a kid again, right?
Yeah, I never kind of thought of it that way, but I can definitely see how that's true. And think about it, ice cream is probably one of the first foods you ever tried as a little kid where you thought, "Wow, that's great. I want more of that."
Yeah, I want it every day. Have you ever seen one of these videos where parents give their babies ice cream for the first time and they're like, oh, their eyes just light up? Those are really cute.
Those are really funny. I know exactly what you're talking about. The kids kind of lose their minds for a second. Like, what is this amazing stuff? So there you go. A clear sign that ice cream and gelato and sorbet are simply foods that can both make people really happy and help them cool down on hot summer days. Well, before we finish our article, let's go over to Daphne and she'll remind us of our final grammar point.
第三则文法是 A reminds B of 加名词，意思是 A 使 B 想起。Remind 是及物动词，意思是使想起，后方接人当受词，再用介系词 of 引出想起的事物。我们来看个例句 ：The candy reminds Harriet of her childhood. 糖果让 Harriet 想起童年。
All right, thanks for joining us for this conversation today, and we'll have more about some of these wonderful frozen treats in tomorrow's article, which will continue our look at all things ice cream. We'll see you then. Bye-bye. Cool and refreshing frozen desserts. Ben and Jerry get into the differences between ice cream and gelato. Which do you like better, ice cream or gelato?
I like the former better.
Is that because it has more cream than the latter?
That's part of the reason. Another part is that it has a light and fluffy texture.
That must be from the air bubbles inside the ice cream.
Wait, how do you know that?
I took an ice cream making course at college for fun.
That's cool. Oh, and another thing, ice cream reminds me of my childhood and the good times I had.
Top Church is an important part of the Sanxia Baida community. It is in the Glory Town building near National Taipei University, Sanxia campus. Over 6 years, the church grew from 20 members to several thousand. Top Church plays a big part in helping the community grow. It brings people together by holding many fun events during the year. These include singing, sports, speech, and holiday activities. It also improves the lives of the people in the community. Church members often visit families in need. At local schools, they help teenagers make the right decisions in life. The church's support means a lot to them. Top Church truly makes Sanxia Baida community a warmer, more exciting place.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 又到我们1分钟的单元喽。那我们今天要1分钟的时间来复习4个单字，同学们您都准备好了没？1分钟计时开始。第一个单字呢，它可以用来形容是前者的。我们不是会讲2个东西，然后有前者跟后者。那么前者的叫做 former， 那么后者用 latter， 所以我们会用 the former 前者 ，the latter 后者。假设有人提了2个点子，第一个点子我们就是说 the former idea， 第二个点子你就可以说 the latter idea。OK，the former idea sounds better， 前者那个前面说的那个点子听起来比较好。第二单字呢，它可以用来表达鲜奶油的意思，这字叫做 cream， 像 ice cream 是就像冰冰的鲜奶油冰淇淋，对不对？我们用鲜奶油造句 ，She put some strawberries on top of the cream。她在鲜奶油上面放了一些草莓。第三单字是指大学，大学除了 university， 我们还常用这个字叫做 college。I played volleyball in college。我在大学时期有打排球。第四个单字是童年，童年怎么说叫 childhood。Those marbles caught up memories of my childhood。那些弹珠使我想起童年回忆。算我过关好不好？就差那么0.5秒吧，拜托让我过关。好，那不管怎么样，我们有复习完4个单字，也造完例句了。那还是要多多复习，多多造句练习哦。我们下次见了，拜拜。
See you next time.